Welcome to the weekly session on careers in investment banking. My name is Alan Arvindan, and we're just waiting for a couple of people to join in. And welcome Ashutosh and Anirudh for taking your time off. If you could, Ashutosh, if you could just probably let me know what your background is, so that I can accordingly give you some examples and help you out with any questions that you might have. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekly session on. Yeah, Ashutosh, can you hear me? And also to those people who have joined in through YouTube, okay, you're free to ask questions, post it out in the chat, and I'll be happy to assist you while I keep looking at the questions that you post. Welcome, Vaibhav. So I guess people are joining now. You're not able to switch on the audio. I have given you the rights to do that. I mean, I can see that I have not restricted. Okay, just give me a second. All right, and now can you try, Ashutosh, possibly? Welcome to the session on careers in investment banking. My name is Alan, and this is a weekly Q&A session where, depending upon what kind of questions you have, I will be discussing those. So it's not a webinar. It's not like I can obviously start with a pre-decided topic, but it's always better to answer questions. And if you're uncomfortable talking on the mic, then you're always welcome to just put the question directly on the chat box, and I will take it up. Any questions, guys? Okay, feel free to talk about anything in investment banking. It does not really have to be only about careers. It does not really have to be about just what skills, qualifications. Can be anything. Okay, let it be as simple and as easy for you as possible. You're not able to unmute yourself. Okay, that's pretty weird, because I've actually given you the rights to do that. Let me try if I can probably unmute you. So I'll try to unmute Ashutosh. Okay, I've given you a request to unmute. Can you probably see that notification?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Hi, Ashutosh.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question? What can I help you out with today's session?
Basically, I just want to know about this program actually.
The program. Okay, what's your background, Ashutosh?
Currently, basically, I'm graduate from Mumbai IIT in BMS Finance, and currently I'm working in a share as an equity dealer.
Dealer. Okay, and where do you want to go?
Basically, I want to pursue my career in investment banking.
Okay, great. So I'll help you out with props. Basically, you want to know how to make a career into investment banking, and also you would want to know what skills are there. So, okay, that's pretty understandable. Amay, you want to probably just give me a brief of what your background is and what can I help you out with today? Amay, I've just put up a request if you want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hi, Amay.
Yeah, hi, hello, sir. Sir, we had a talk before, and I just want to know about investment banking. Talking about my description, we had a word. I'm an NSC student, and I just want to pursue my career in equity research analyst. But I just wanted to know what is exactly investment banking. So I just joined this seminar about it.
So I hope I can help you out with that. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Let
great,
me
sir.
understand what web of, if you would like to probably give me a background. Any specific questions you might have?
Yes, sir. Good morning. We had a conversation earlier also with regards to that.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, sure.
So if you could just give me a brief again, so I can
No,
probably.
yeah, also fine. Not an issue, sir. My background is of commerce itself. I have done my graduation in the year 2019, and for 1.5 years, I had worked for the SBI Mutual Fund. Now I'm working with Grow as a chat support.
Okay.
So, but I want to pursue my career in the core finance profile, and that's why I'm here to have a conversation on what the options are available with me to
Great.
go ahead in the same.
Great. So I'll make the session as neutral as possible and as brief to the point as much as possible, so that you get the gist. Okay. Uh, I'll just give you a quick introduction about me. I'm the CEO and founder of Mentor.me, and I started this off in the month of December. I've already worked, so I've been in the education industry, heading products and marketing for an education company for about 9 years. And before that, I was into fund management, and before that, I was into primarily into equity research. Right. So that's how my career is planned out, and I'm an avid investor, trader, and mentor for various colleges and for my own institute as well. Okay, so let's keep the scope again. So to different things related to investment banking. Okay, so it's the basic roles and positions. What is the scope in Indian context? What are the salaries? Who are the top recruiters? Right. And there's a lot of confusion which I see with people when they think investment banking. They always try to visualize. See, every time we think about something, we obviously visualize it, and we always think that, oh, investment banking is like this, right? Probably a person in suit, and it's a large Goldman Sachs kind of a company, is what we always imagine. And that's the biggest misconception, because investment banking is an umbrella term. Okay, it's a larger term. It's like saying finance. Okay, finance is already big, and if I say it's investment banking, then it means a lot of things, right? So that is what we want to simplify. Okay, but I will not get too much into deep context of investment banking. We'll keep it very brief. Okay, so in any investment bank, okay, any investment bank, first of all, if you would like, do you know what is the difference between a normal bank and an investment bank? Anybody is allowed to just speak and tell me, do you understand what is the difference between a normal bank and an investment bank? You're free to write in the chat box or open your mic and just talk. What is the difference between a normal bank and an investment bank? You see, a normal bank, everyday activities bank. So the normal bank is doing what? Is taking the deposits from people and giving it to businesses or people who require it, right? So it is taking the deposits from large amount of people at a probably a 4.6 or 4.5% rate, savings rate, and it is given to businesses at, let's say, 10%. Right? A very simple example. And in the process, they are basically getting a margin on that. Right? The 10% minus 4.6 is what the bank makes finally, isn't it? Now, that is basic banking operations, right? But what is an investment bank? So investment bank, as the banking industry obviously kept on growing and becoming evolved over the years, they obviously started giving larger services. So it was not just banking, but then advisory, trading, all of these services started getting added on that, right? Prop trading, right? Debt structuring, so many activities the bank can provide as the gamut of services, right? So advisory, then trading, research, right? Equity research, as we say. So, for example, if you see ICICI, ICICI also has its investment banking division. Right? It's a gamut of service. So ICICI Bank is a large investment bank. Okay, because it's got everything, right? So it just does not have. I think somebody's mic is open. Okay, I didn't notice, but there are so many people who have joined. I'm so sorry. I forgot to uh, introduce you and welcome you. So Ayushi, welcome to the session. Anjali, Ashutosh, we already talking. Sumant, Rachna, Sarojini, welcome to the session on careers in investment banking. I'm so sorry I got really into the session and I forgot to check if somebody new had come. Guys, if you have any questions, okay, there's a very open discussion. Okay, ये कोई lecture नहीं हो रहा. तो आपके पास कोई भी डाउट है, if you have any doubt related to careers in investment banking, careers in finance, please feel free to put it in the chat box. I will take it up in the discussion. So right now what we're discussing it, what is the difference between a normal bank and an investment bank? So normal bank I just discussed out here, that it's taking deposits from people at 4.6 and giving it to businesses or people who require money at a higher interest rate, right? तो 4.6 पे लेते हैं लोगों से और 10% पे दे देते हैं. That is the basic banking operation, right? Normal bank. Lekin if you say that the banking industry also has to evolve, right? So it also adds so many services with it, right? So I was just writing debt restructuring. किसी को अपना debt को restructure करके चाहिए. जैसे कि अगर आपके पास home loan है, if you have home loan, right? And somehow after 5 years down the line, you think that, you know what, ये EMI बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है और EMI पे करने में मुश्किल हो रही है. तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं जाऊंगा अपने बैंक के पास, बोलूंगा देखो या तो मेरे नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स बढ़ा दो या तो मेरा इंटरेस्ट रेट कम करा दो. व्हाट इज दैट? डेट रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग, राइट? नाउ इन अ बिजनेस आल्सो इट कैन हैपन, बट एट अ लार्जर लेवल, राइट? सो डेट रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग, प्रॉप ट्रेडिंग मतलब कंपनीज की जो सरप्लस होती है पैसे, जैसे अगर मेरे पास बिजनेस है और मेरे पास सरप्लस है और उसकी ट्रेडिंग होनी है, राइट? तो उसको भी प्रॉप ट्रेडिंग बोलते हैं. या तो इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक के ही जो सरप्लस पैसे हैं उसको ट्रेडिंग करके अगर आप रिटर्न्स कमा पाओ तो वो उसको बोलते हैं प्रॉप ट्रेडिंग, राइट? प्रोप्राइटरी ट्रेडिंग स्ट्रेटजीज, राइट? एडवाइजरी इज कैन बी मेनी. आई मीन इट कैन बी रिलेटेड टू एक्विजिशन, कि कौन सी कंपनी एक्वायर करनी चाहिए. रिसर्च, ब्रोकिंग. तो आईसीआईसीआई का अगर आप देखोगे तो आईसीआईसीआई सिक्योरिटीज ब्रोकिंग सेक्शन भी है, राइट? डिपार्टमेंट भी है कंपनी में. सो दे विल प्रोवाइड रिसर्च टू इंस्टीट्यूशनल कंपनीज एंड इन रिटर्न ब्रोकिंग में वो क्लाइंट बन जाते हैं, है ना? फिर आपकी तो ये सारे, फिर वेल्थ मैनेजमेंट आपका ऑब्वियसली डिवीजन है. तो अगर हम इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग बोले तो इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग बहुत लार्ज फील्ड है, ठीक है? लेकिन हम जनरली जब सोचते हैं, व्हेन वी थिंक अबाउट इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग, वी ऑलवेज आर थिंकिंग अबाउट mergers and acquisition, right? Equity research, right? Which is fair, okay, which is fair to think, but the point that I'm trying to make, it's a large term. Okay, now in any investment bank, the junior most position is intern or junior analyst. So you can start probably in the final year of your graduation also in an investment bank. If you join after a little bit of experience or maybe after your post graduation, then you can start at an associate level, and after that it's you go to senior positions like AVP. Okay, just forgive the formatting here, like AVP or a senior associate level is what you get into, probably about 3 to 4 years. And then there are like these large positions like director, managing director, partner, right? We don't have to really go there. Now what are the different types? So this is where the people are unaware that you don't really have to get into all the time. I mean, that's not the only way by which you can get into investment banking, is to get into ICICI or maybe Goldman Sachs or maybe Credit Suisse, right? So examples out here are Credit Suisse, large investment banks, right? JP Morgan, right? Goldman Sachs. These are large investment banks, right? So people always think that कि यहाँ पर घुसना की तैयारी पहले कर लें, ठीक है? लेकिन आप भूल रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर मिडिल साइज भी है ना? So for example, something like transparent value or smaller type of not very large operations, probably a little local, right? And there are then very smaller ones, like you might have Aventus Capital out of Bombay, right? These are smaller, छोटा एक ही सर्विस देते हैं. यहाँ पर आप 2 सर्विस देते हैं, 4 सर्विस देते हैं. ये फुल सर्विस के पास सब कुछ है, ठीक है? तो अगर आप ग्रेजुएट हैं, if you're a graduate or you're in your final year of graduation, then you can start in boutique, right? Smaller firm में चालू करो आप. उसके बाद आप वो एक्सपीरियंस लीजिए. If you get at least 1 or 2 years of experience out here, then you can use this experience to even get here or here. But if you directly start here, full service, you should have premium qualifications. Okay. But right now, what I see people doing is just running behind qualification. Jabki just yesterday night, we were Insta live and we were talking to one of my friend who is with KPMG, right? Now that's a large firm, right? But he did not enter KPMG in the first attempt, right? He went through stages. So, and even he says that, beyond a point, the qualification is really not going to help you. The experience and the motivation and the attitude is going to really help you. So if you start with boutique firms or even mid-sized firms to start with, if you do not have a very, premium qualification, but you have the skill set, then you can finally get into these full service banks also. Okay. So that's my small point out here. Now, if you're an undergraduate, you're still in your, studying for your graduation, then you can start at an intern level. Trust me, internship do come. Okay. And internships for undergraduate can come even in large firms, even in small firms. So it's a good idea if you are in your, let's say, second year or your third year. I'm talking about undergraduation. Okay. Or in your third year, to look out for good internships. They might be paid, they might be unpaid, doesn't matter. But that experience will directly help you after your graduation, even after BCom, to get into investment banking at the analyst or an associate level. Okay. So yesterday, again, we were discussing with my friend that, e-value serve, I don't know if you've heard, right? So e-value serve, the floor that he works in, there are people with BCom also. There are people from IIM also. There are people with CFA also. And there are people with CA also. So ऐसा नहीं है कि खाली IIM ही जा रहा है या खाली CFA ही जा रहा है. सारे तरीके के लोग हैं. It depends upon your will to get into that. Okay. But the designation that you get after graduation can be either junior analyst, or if you are good enough, you might start at an associate level. So associate is slightly higher. Okay. Now these terminologies might slightly change basis if you are getting into IB operations or research. Sometimes in the research domain, the associate is the junior position and the analyst is the senior position. In IB, it might be the other way around. Analyst might be junior and associate might be senior, but that's okay. That's just terminologies, right? And if you are a postgraduate, okay, then you can directly start at an associate level. Okay. Usually that is what will happen. Unless, of course, your skill sets are not up to the mark, then you might have started at a junior analyst level. These are your salary ranges. Now, trust me, I would definitely agree with it, because sometimes when we look at salaries of investment banking, we always think, oh, it's going to be 25 lakhs. It's true. But you see, we're talking about those full service full service investment bank, large. Okay. But smaller investment banks to start with, specifically for undergraduates and graduates who do not have the premium qualification, that can also be as low as 3 lakhs. But who cares? Because if you get this experience, okay, even if you do not do a premium qualification, you can still get into those larger investment banks. But that is the hard truth, okay, that the smaller companies will not pay you as big as probably a Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, right? These are larger players, okay, and this is correct data. Now, this is a brief summarization of how long does it take to get into a senior level. Trust me, it's as simple as any other field in which it takes time for you to reach senior positions. Okay, senior positions are obviously very lucrative because you start getting a lot of revenue share also as a part of your operations, right? So if you are an intern, okay, your salary ranges can be as low as 1.8 to 2.2 depending if they are very smaller companies, and if 6 to 7 if you are lucky enough to get a Merrill Lynch internship. Okay, if you are an analyst, then the ranges from small size boutique companies to large boutique company, large full service banks is 5 to 15. So if you get into Goldman Sachs, the starting salary is also 15 lakh, right? But they only take IMs and CFAs, right? Associate levels, that is a senior position, it might, even for a smaller company, it will be at 12 lakhs. But from analyst to associate, you will take at least 3 years to reach here if you're good. Okay, and the larger investment bank at an associate level can pay almost 35 lakhs. Okay, and the bonus or the incentives are pretty low out here. Okay, it's just about 2 to 3% of your salary is actually incentive or bonuses. Okay, but once you start getting into more senior roles, so it will take you another 5 years from associate to get into the AVP level or the senior associate level, in which larger investment banks like Goldman Sachs, your salary would have already crossed 60, and for smaller investment banks you might be somewhere around 20. Okay, but your revenue share, okay, or your incentive component will start increasing out here. Okay, definitely. And beyond this, there are positions like okay, let me just write it out here. Positions like managing director, then you've got partner. Okay, so before it is director, then MD, then partner. Okay, so as you keep progressing there, the competition will also increase. So there are fewer people who will keep on rising beyond AVP. So very few directors, very few MD. So these are the times when people will switch into different companies. Okay, because if they do not get the opportunity to become director, they might try with some other company, right? And also it might so happen that a lot of people will stop working only and they will start their own firm because they will have clients, and they will just start another boutique in which probably an analyst now, for example, any graduate who's right now looking for a job might work. So that usually happens in this industry. Okay, these are some of the top recruiters who have shown what their salaries, and these salaries are pretty true. If you can see larger, the point that I was making, you see the larger investment banks start pretty high even at an analyst level, right? But there are also your smaller companies, who start with 6 lakhs, right? If you see Goldman Sachs, straight away start with 15 lakhs, right? So now the question is, you never start investment banking career by just looking at salary. Okay, because it's your start. You always want to get a good company where you get good experience. Experience is very, very important in this niche field that you're talking about, investment banking. Okay, which includes equity research, all of those activities as well. So you want to get good experience. So even if you have to compromise for your salary for a couple of years, that's fine, but that's always better than ending up doing a job which is probably not relevant. There's a lot of irrelevant jobs available. So you don't want to get into an irrelevant job, because that experience then finally spoils your resume. And then it becomes impossible once you have about 5 to 6 years experience to get into investment banking. Okay. Now, this is our performance. So we cater to smaller as well as larger investment banks, depending upon the opportunity that comes, right? So now if you talk about larger, then we have something like Citi, right? PwC, right? eValueServe. So these are large, they pay they tend to take a good candidates. But you have also smaller companies. I've not written smaller companies out here, but you can consider Morningstar as a smaller example. Then you can write Avendus Capital as a smaller one. Then there are many small boutique firms which are available all across India. Okay. So lowest is 2.4, highest is 10, and average is 4 is what we are able to achieve. Okay. So 57%, and that's pretty, if you look at these ratios, it's pretty fair, because not everyone is coming with a premium qualification. So the people who are coming with premium qualifications and they're very good, they're very honest, they're very hardworking, they fall under the cream 14%. They get the highest packages, and most of them are in the middle range. And then you've got some candidates who are pretty slow, or probably who are not able to actually perform very well so fast. So they end up in the 29% bracket out here. But there is a job for everything. Yesterday just we were discussing whether the recruitment is actually increasing or not. So in fact, recruitment is actually increasing because the demand is increasing, right? And trust me, in investment banking in India, majorly we service the US clients. Okay. Very few opportunities in India itself for Indian businesses. And that's with every service industry in India, not just in investment banking, even in IT. The major service we give is for the US clients. So even investment banking services that we work for is for US clients. So that doesn't seem to be decreasing as of now. There is no change in skill sets. There is no AI, artificial intelligence. All of that is pretty nascent right now. Has no effect on job opportunities. No jobs have changed. Okay. But what are the skills which are required? So I wanted to summarize on my yesterday's discussion as well, is the fact that what are the skills which are important to get into IB. Now, as opposed to what we think that we need to have this super scientific and unimaginable kind of knowledge, it's not. In reality, it is very basic. You don't have to keep on running around looking for these complex qualifications to succeed in investment banking or to enter into investment banking. What you do need to do is to get your basics right. Okay. So it's always about the basics. Just yesterday, my friend and me, so we both, he was in my CFA class in 2014, and also in the financial modeling class in 2014. And he did all the levels of CFA, but what he ended up saying is that finally in the interview, the content of the level 1 program itself is enough. The content, not even the qualification, the content of the CFA level 1 syllabus itself is enough for you to enter the job. And that's what we have done in our course. So we have made that, we have taken out the important content from CFA level 1 and also combined the skill to make people job ready or make people ready to crack those interviews, right? So from that perspective, if you see, just last week also we were discussing the same thing. Your qualifications, okay, your degrees, your whatever you want to call it, these are just credibility or filtration function. The function of qualification is credibility at the resume level, which will help you to reach the doors of the company to present your whatever services you have, right? So it just opens the door. Okay, interview mil gaya. That's the only thing that the qualification can do. Beyond that, once you sit for the interview, there is no discussion on your qualification. Nobody cares. Okay. After that, everything starts shifting into skills. Okay. Now, what skills are we talking about? The same skills which they would need from you from tomorrow, which is to do research. Your qualification, even if you are a CFA charter holder, doesn't matter. Because from tomorrow, if you don't know how to do this, what I've written on the right, you are of no use for me. Okay. So simple questions on, content on basic stuffs like what is IRR, what is NPV, what is minority interest, what is impairment, how do I analyze a company, how do I make a model for the company. All of these are basic stuffs. Okay. And the CFA will provide you the theory for it, but unfortunately the problem is it was not intended to be a practical qualification. None of the qualifications are intended to be practical. It can never be. It is just providing you a theory for it. Now, skills is what financial modeling is. Okay. So financial statement analysis, understanding income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, inventory valuation, right? Long-term fixed assets, right? Non-current liabilities. All these are important stuff. Ratio analysis. You see, not just mugging up ratios, but understanding why. Can you explain why? That level of understanding can only come when you practically practice it. And unfortunately, none of the students in the current generation are putting enough effort to go to that level of understanding. Okay, Excel and advanced Excel enough to make a model is what. You don't have to be an expert, you don't have to become a coder here. Enough so that you can make a financial model. उतने तक आपको एक्सेल की स्किल चाहिए. ये नहीं कि आपको एक्सेल शॉर्टकट आता है, वो कोई टेस्ट नहीं करने वाला है ना. आपको कोई ये नहीं बोलने वाला है कि आपको सारे फंक्शंस एक्सेल के आते हैं कि नहीं आते हैं. Only enough which is required in finance. Valuation methods, DCF, relative valuation, 2-stage model, 3-stage model, H model, right? All of these are important things which get tested in the interview. Corporate finance, cost of capital, financial leverage. You see, FCFF, FCFE, all these are concepts which are tested in, and that precisely is a part of our program. So financial modeling given by Mentome is exactly same. It's a 90 hours of core program in which we prepare you for the core financial modeling skill. But to make you placement ready, we spend a good amount of time out here because a lot of people suffer here, no matter what qualification you come from. Okay, so we spend a lot of time making these skills go up. Okay, and as a part of the program, we want to be as available as possible for the student. So we don't want to really have this gap that if you want to talk to me, or if you want to discuss your queries with me, or if you want any support, there should be any barrier to that. So that's the reason why we have Tuesdays and Thursdays live doubt solving session as a part of the program. Just come directly, share your screen, and get your doubts cleared. Plus, we are available 24/7 on WhatsApp. Every trainer will be available 24/7 on WhatsApp to give you the support. After we're done with the core program of 90 hours, then you are ready to even think about doing specializations. That means, doing one financial model doesn't really help. Just doing one financial model is not enough. So you have to practice it. Just if I've taught you some IT valuation model in the class, Now you have to go and start applying in real estate business. You have to start applying in aviation business. What that will do is, over a period, it will give you perspective, and finding a job becomes much, much more easier, because now you've got much to talk about, you know. So now in your interview, it's not one way. देखो, इंटरव्यू जाने के दो तरीके होते हैं. एक है कि मैं आपको क्वेश्चन पूछते रहूं और आप आंसर ना करो, या उल्टा करते हैं कि मैं आपसे पहले क्वेश्चन पूछता हूं, फिर आप ही इतना ज्यादा बोल देते हो क्योंकि आपको इतना सारा पता है, राइट? So that can only happen if the interview, first of all, the basics are clear. If the basics are not clear, then we are screwed on revenue, right? So if you falter in the first question of me asking you a double entry, तो इंटरव्यू आगे जा नहीं पाती है. तो मैंने आपको बोला कि अनअर्न्ड रेवेन्यू क्या होता है फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट में, तो आपने अगर आंसर सही किया, वेरी गुड. सो नाउ वी गेट इनटू अ लिटिल, you know, complex topic. Acha, so I say, you know, what is DuPont ratio? DuPont analysis क्या होता है? आपने इसको भी आंसर कर दिया, very good. Then I ask you a third question. I say that, okay, during a recession, what kind of a company should we invest in? Now I'm going into the application side of questioning you. This is where I will start testing you कि आपने खाली content पढ़ा है या आपने कभी अप्लाई भी किया है. फिर मैं फोर्थ क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ, क्या आपने कभी कोई कंपनी मार्केट को स्टडी किया है? दिस इज व्हेन these specializations will help, where you can take those projects and say that, you know what, yes, I have, and I have followed, you know, about 3 to 4 companies, and you can talk about it, right? So fundamental से लेके advanced level तक पहुंचने के लिए इंटरव्यू में टाइम लगता है, and that's the reason why we have designed the program in such a way. This is just not for marketing. We just don't want to, you know, market our product saying कि हमारे पास 12 specialization है. It's for the benefit of the students so that they actually help in the placement. Okay. Now, when we say placements, everybody talks about placements. The placements. ये बोलना आसान है, लेकिन we have designed the program specifically from placement angle. Okay. We've just not designed the content saying that ki, acha, you know what, we'll just teach you financial modeling and then you can go. We researched on about 1,500 interviews, real interviews that happened, and we realized on what should be the content itself. So there is no separate placement content. The content that is getting taught itself is matched for the interviews, so that everything that you do in the course, and you can take feedback from our students, are real stuff. That's the reason why it becomes difficult. Okay, so in our program, it's just not come and sit and just copy paste. नहीं चलता है. हमारे प्रोग्राम में आपको आके ओपन एंडेड असाइनमेंट्स करने पड़ते हैं. जैसे कि मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी तो सब जगह सिखाई जाती है. Everybody teaches time value of money, what is future value, what present value. But our assignments are not just related to calculating, you know, what is the rate of return. ये direct question है. इसमें आपको कुछ सीखने को नहीं मिलेगा. And give me on a risk adjusted basis which is a better fund. And there is no right answer to this. There is no right and wrong answer to this. Now, ऐसे असाइनमेंट में आपको पहले तो दिमाग लगाना पड़ता है कि फ्रैंकलिन टेम्पल्टन वर्सेस एचडीएफसी टॉप 200 का डेटा ही कहां से निकालूं. बात वहां से चालू होती है. ठीक है. सो स्टूडेंट्स आर dumbfounded because they are like, okay, शुरू कहां से करें. So they will go and first ask the first simple question is the where to get the data from. That is where the learning starts. Okay, data मिलता भी है, ये तो पता भी नहीं था पहले, है ना. फिर रिस्क क्या होती है? तो रिस्क के लिए जो हम स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन पढ़ाते हैं, सबने स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन पढ़ा है, लेकिन किसी को मतलब पता नहीं है कि व्हाट इज स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन, राइट? और स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन की प्रॉब्लम क्या है? रिस्क एडजस्टेड रेशियो में सबको पता है कि शार्प रेशियो होती है, लेकिन शार्प का प्रॉब्लम क्या है किसी को नहीं पता. सो when students start doing such assignments which are more open ended, what we have realized is, grilling is obviously there. There's a lot of grind which happens in the way, and there's a lot of frustration which comes to the student. But at the end, after 2.5 months, 3 months, if you ask the same student how much you knew before and how much you know, probably in the entire MBA syllabus, he has not learned as much as he gets to learn in the 3 months that he's with us. The placement process with us works this way. As people join the program, we do not say that you have to wait for 3.5 months or 2.5 months and only then I will give you the placement. Placements take time, and just with statistics, anything, you have to keep on applying from day one, and finally in 2.5 months, 3 months, success comes. Okay, so we conduct something called as the base screening, which means we will try to assess what you already know. Now, if your performance out here in the base screening is fantastic, then I start giving you opportunities from day one. Okay, so the trainer is the final person who actually takes the call on whether to send the student right now for placement or not. It is not decided by the student. It is decided by the trainer, because the trainer is always observing what his performance in various tests in class, his attendance, his activity, and his previous background and his current knowledge. So if the student is good enough at any stage, he will be sent for interviews, not at the end of the program. Okay. And of course, all the content is from an employability perspective. Okay. And then you will keep on getting opportunity as well. Now, opportunities, how do we generate opportunities? Some of the opportunities, obviously 100 recruiters we have our own relationship with, but we also keep on doing search on newer opportunities every day. So there are so many jobs which comes on LinkedIn, Naukri, Monster as well, which we also side by side make the students apply. Okay, along with our own openings which we get, because the target is finally to get a job, to get a break. Okay, and this is my final slide. I think you've already seen in the website the different learning opportunities. Now, forget about the price, but which variant is suitable for whom? So if you are a kind of a person who is probably a fresher or very junior, and you've not worked too many years, probably 1 or 2 years, and you really want an outcome, what the outcome is, placement, then you go for the Live Plus program. If you want placements, and if you are somewhere around 0 to 2 years experience. If you are those senior kinds, 5 to 6 years experience, you already are working in finance and you are getting opportunities, you get new calls from the recruiters, but the problem is that you're not able to clear the interview. Then you come for the live basic one, or you just want to learn, come for the live basic one, because this is live program, just like how I'm teaching you right now. That's how it's going to happen in the Live Basic and Live Plus. The plus is just for the placements. Apart from that, there is no difference. Now, if you are the ones who say that, what, I don't want just content, content खुद पढ़ना पसंद नहीं है, लेकिन बीच बीच में मुझे ट्रेनर की जरूरत पड़ने वाली है हर वीक. तो अगर आपको हर वीक में ट्यूसडे एंड थर्सडे को जो हमारा डाउट सॉल्विंग होता है उसका एक्सेस चाहिए लाइव, लेकिन पढ़ाई आप अपने आप से करना चाहते हो आराम से, तो आप सेल्फ पेस प्लस में आ जाइए. ये प्लस है ना, जिसमें आपको कंटेंट अपने खुद के स्पीड में पढ़ने को मिलता है, लेकिन ट्यूसडे और थर्सडे को ट्रेनर लाइव अवेलेबल है आपके डाउट सॉल्व करने के लिए व्हाट्सएप में भी. और अगर आप बोलते हो कि मैं एकदम ही इंडिपेंडेंट हूं, मुझे कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, मेरे को खाली कंटेंट चाहिए, तो ये आपकी ओनली कंटेंट वाली वेरिएंट है. ओके, सो दैट्स इट गाइस. एनी क्वेश्चंस? Anybody is free to put it in the chat box, and or probably just unmute yourself and ask. Did I make sense? I hope I didn't waste your time. Any questions, guys, related to anything? If you have, please be free to ask me, chat with me, talk to me, no problem. It can be anything related to career, it can be related to trading, it can be related to investments, it can be anything. Okay, and by the way, let me also see if there are any questions. I forgot to check any questions on YouTube. Thank you, Vaibhav. Okay, so if any no questions, so let's catch up again. And thank you for joining in. What was the lectures timing? Okay, see, lectures is I'll tell you. Saturday, Sunday, it's in the evening. Saturday's evening, post 7 p.m. and Sunday it's 12 to 2 and 2 to 4. And the financial statement analysis class which we run it in weekday. Okay, and that also happens late in the evening. Okay, that's 7. But the benefit of that weekday classes is that it just runs for 2 weeks. Okay, and it's just a series, it keeps on repeating. So you can always come to the accounting class later on also if you have some doubts. And also I forgot to mention, any variant that you go with us, okay, there is no restriction on the number of times you can attend my batches. It's just we do not charge any batch transfer fee. We do not charge any extra fee. It's just one and it's done. So if in case you start with the Live Plus program and then, you've got some work or something happens, right? Things happen. And then you're not able to attend that, the same batch. You're always welcome to, join the next batch without any additional cost for a year. And that facility is for a year. All right, guys. So if no questions, thank you so much for joining in. You are always welcome to send us your queries even after the webinar, and I'll be happy to answer that. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.